And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Come on in, come on in. I'm going to give you a chance to come on in to Dr. V's place. I've got a special guest with me tonight. Let me go ahead and go live on Instagram on I to the G. So I'm going to go ahead and share. So you guys just give me just a second as I share. All right. Let me continue sharing. Okay. Ooh. All right. I've shared. You guys come on in. Come on in. Hey, Daquan. Daquan is on, Daddy.
That's my grandson. I love that voice. Oh,
Yes,
God,
that is your grandson.
much
Yes, it
love.
is.
Much love.
Yes. Well, listen, we're excited tonight because I'm going to take the time as I relaunch Dr. V's place and have my daddy come on. My daddy, my daddy, my daddy, my daddy. And we're going to be talking about his book. We're going to give people just a second to get on, and we're going to get started. When you come in the room, let us know that you're here. Daquan said, looking like a Chi-Town player. Let us know that you're here. Let us know where you are tuning in from. I'm excited. I've got some other special guests who are going to be joining us tonight. But I wanted to take the opportunity and just talk about the book, Daddy. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and put the link on the page for people to go get their copy of the ebook.
Okay.
And let me just, I'm going to adjust our view. Bring you in, bring you in. Oh, that's my daddy. Hey, everybody, welcome, welcome. Hey, Rena. Rena said, Daddy looking sharp.
Thank you.
Tim talking about good evening from the bed. Now, listen, we've got another special guest. And so I think that we're going to have a conversation. I think this is really exciting. I've got two brothers coming on. My brother Craig is coming on, and my brother, the interviewer extraordinaire, none other than J. Rick Rollins. So let me bring Craig on. Craig, you ready?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Hey, brother.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good, good. I'm glad that you came on. So,
wait, if I'd have known we was getting dressed for church, I would have got dressed up.
No, this is just a daddy thing.
Craig, now you know who we are and you know what we do.
Yeah.
So listen, I wanted to talk about the book, right? Craig, I know you've had a chance to read it. And I really want to be able to get your feedback from it. But Daddy, talk to us a little bit about why you wrote this book, why you felt like it was so important to get this book done.
Well, one of the reasons was I felt that my family, my kids, grandkids, and everybody, nobody really knew me. Nobody knew the pain I was actually in all the time, and trying to provide and do the things that needed to be done for my families. And I wanted to write the book to let my kids know me, exactly how hard I had to fight to stay alive just to be here for them. And it seemed like I wasn't getting the point across. So I was like, wait a minute. Nobody's being taught. I don't get calls from grandkids or anything like that. And I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? So I felt like that it was rubbing off on grandkids, and it's going to rub off on their kids if the thing don't stop at some point.
Mm.
That now you know why I did what I've done, and you know the things that I've gone through. But basically, it was like to let my grandkids and kids after that know I existed and that I had a purpose, and what kept me.
Mm.
You know.
So, Daddy, I feel like I got to really know you working with you on this project. I feel like I got some inside scoop. I may have gotten some things that your other children did not get, because of when I entered the picture. But one of the things that you talk about in the book, which I think is amazing, is you talk about your challenges as a father and um, where you missed the mark. Like, I thought that was amazing. Now, Craig, as his son that's been in his life, right? All of your life. When you read the book, how did you feel about Daddy's revelations and the things that he said about him and you and your journey?
I'm sorry. You guys say that again. My phone started ringing. Say that again.
You tell them put it on do not disturb. Listen, so when you read the book based on having lived a life with Daddy, right? Um, what was your takeaway? How did you feel about what you read?
Basically, I felt that it expressed a lot. I already knew a lot just simply because I, built a relationship over the years with him. But I just felt like that it wasn't to the point. Like, meaning, I wanted everybody to take accountability to the part they played. I
Mm.
asked my dad, I said, how old were you? He said, I was in my 20s, and I thought about the things I did in my 20s. And I said, man, come on now. I done did way worse than that stuff. So if you can't forgive somebody in their 20s, then what are we doing right now? So I felt like everybody need to show their part, accountability for what actually happened, how it affected them, what did they do in return, and how they continue to do things. So I look at it like his journey. I felt like it was not as hey, stop, stop. I felt as though sorry, I got kids.
No, my nieces, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I felt as though he didn't want to offend anybody. Like, sometimes my dad, he's very boisterous. He'd say how he feel. And I just felt like he should have just said it. Like, oh, well, let me just say how I feel so everybody can look in the mirror and take a look at themselves as well as him. Because everybody's been shining a light on him. But as you shine the light on him, you got to look at who's shining the light. And you got to say, what did I do to contribute? And as a kid, as growing up as an adult, I remember one thing my dad said. He said, hey, he said, you only call me when you want something. And I had to check myself, like, hold on now, you sound about right. I need something right now. So I had to learn to make calls just to say how you were doing. And then I asked the third call, I need something. So I just learned to budget it out a little bit. But it just made me look in the mirror at myself and take accountability. So I've been on that same journey ever since. And I'll never forget him saying that to me. And I was like, shoot, he's right. Let me change my tune. And that's how I
Wow.
carried it.
Wow. Thank you for your honesty, Dad, Craig. So, Daddy, how does that make you feel to hear Craig say that, he wanted you to be more direct, more to the point? Well, I know
Uh,
Craig. First of all, Craig is Mr. In Your Face. Ah,
well, I realized that, but I grew up on a fact that they said you get more flies with honey than
Yes.
you do with anything else. So what I was trying to do, I didn't want to hurt anybody, but that's something I did all my life for the last 45, 50 years. I didn't want to hurt anybody or offend anybody. And I've had so many challenges on being hurt that I was like, okay, maybe if I make it mild enough, nobody will get offended, and everybody would be okay. I really just want them to know the kind of life I led and the things I had to go through to get to this point. And
Right.
then judge me on everything that I am and that I've done, not on what you feel I should have done for you, you know.
Mm.
So,
Wow.
but the only way for them to know me is for me to allow them to know me. And
Mm.
that's by writing a book and telling them just how far I go. But I didn't beat on anybody like in your face or, well, one of them, you did this and you did that. Um, I wanted just to still at this point, just let them know what I was feeling and how everything that was done affected me, you know.
I really enjoyed that. I appreciated that. And I thought it showed a lot of growth because, you know, it's easy to just say, well, you did this and da 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 da, and this is what happened. But then it can also interfere with the ability for relationships to continue beyond that. Now, I'm going to tell you, you did something that I was like, my daddy bad, right? So in the book, you talk about, um, having the revelation that you had done some jacked up stuff.
Yes,
Having that
yes.
revelation, right? Like seeing you in the different equations. Because I remember the first time you told me and you were telling me about what had happened with Craig and Eric's mom and how she just left you in the hospital and just divorced you in the hospital and you was in the hospital and how can somebody do that to you? And the people was asking the question. And I remember sitting there thinking and I said, but Daddy, didn't you have a girlfriend and two kids on her? And I began to put myself in her
But,
shoes. Baby, I would have put you in the hospital. Like I would have been the one that did it. Like don't
but
call me.
but
But
I
you,
led. But you have to understand that I led two different lives.
mm,
It was two different lives. I led the life of the father, the husband, the let's go to New York on the weekend or whatever, And that kind of life I led at home. It's when I left home that I changed back in. I had to go get myself together for my other two kids and do what I had to do for her. And that's just the way it was working out. But I was two different people. And
wow,
scared of my own mind.
wow,
Actually, I was scared of my mind. I didn't know what my mind was going to make me do or tell me to do at any given time. So I went through this most of my life, until I got medicated and everything, and some situations changed.
right,
But
right,
I had did a lot of damage.
right,
I did a
right.
lot of damage, and I was like, you know what? You ain't been the best person.
Mm,
you know. But I actually thought I was doing right because I was
mm,
still taking care of my family and I was still fulfilling the needs of my family, I thought, and,
mm.
allocating time for another family. So,
Wow.
that's where I did that. But in actuality, most of my life after Vietnam was trying to keep people from knowing that I was hurting when I was smiling. And
Wow.
I spent my life doing that, so I had to portray or be other people or something else that they needed or whatever. Uh, I was in the player mode. I hung out with the bartenders, the drug pushers, and stuff. And I lived that life, and I was like, why am I doing all this? I didn't know, but I knew that I had to change different perspectives so that I would appear that I had it together.
Mm. Daddy,
But
Courtney said, hey, granddad, a full suit though. Courtney, you know how he do now. You know how he do. Listen, so because that part of your life, I wasn't in your life. That part of
right,
your
right,
life, I got from the stories
yeah.
from you, stories from Craig, stories from oh, that's Eric. Courtney said that's Eric. Have Eric sent that message, Daddy. Hey,
Okay.
nephew. Um, so I got the stories of that part. And the thing about me was with me just coming in, I'm hearing the stories. And so I'm looking at everything from the outside. So I kind of able to put myself in different people's shoes and see perspectives and stuff. And one of the things that you did, Daddy, was, and I want you to talk about this. Um, when God dealt with you about apologizing. That's
Yes.
your son. I know, Craig.
Yeah.
That's your gift over there talking. You know he
I
keeps
know.
that playing when he's in there.
I tried to figure out how to turn it off, but it keeps playing all the
It's all right, Daddy. It's all
time.
right.
Yeah. So what was that now?
So when you let me tell you this first. Eric and Courtney said, Uncle Craig, you was thinking the same thing, but congratulations, Granddad. He said it, Eric. He said it. He said, "Oh, I didn't know that we was dressing up. I didn't know we was going to church. If I'd have known that, I would have wore something different." And I'm looking at him like, "I told you to change your shirt. Did you not see me? Like what?" So, Daddy,
No.
when you made the decision that you were going to assume responsibility and make some apologies, what led you to that point, and what was that like for you?
Well, you see, God allows you to do what He allows you to do. But God is decent and in order in everything that He does. So, in order for me to get the blessings God had for me, I had to make an atonement for my sins in
Mm,
that particular manner. So, I let myself know that, look, I want them to forgive me. And even if I died today or tomorrow, these are the things I want. Forgive me, because I done it, but I'm sorry, you know.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And then I asked forgiveness, and I asked for that from each one of my kids' mothers, you know.
mm,
And it didn't matter whether I felt they treated me wrong or I treated them wrong. It was, if I had any kind of effect, a negative effect in your life, or abused you in any manner, I want to say I'm sorry.
mm.
So that's,
Wow.
but in order for me to get what God has for me, I had to make sure that I covered the bases. I had to forgive them as well as myself.
Mm.
So, well, that's what I tried to do.
So,
Yeah.
Craig, how does that make you feel? Um, because you went through it. Like you went through the period when Daddy had another family. And do you remember when you met David and Marquita for the first time?
No, I don't remember. It was a long, long time ago. Meaning,
Right,
I think
right.
I remember the picture. I think I remember us sitting on a car in a picture saying that that's your brother and sister. Like I think that was it. Like I don't, recall spending time. And if it was a meeting, it was an encounter, meaning it was just
Mm.
quick. And I'm going to the store. I'll be right back. And next thing you pop, hey, this is your brother and sister. Go back. So I don't know how it happened, but I don't remember much. We didn't do much together.
Okay, okay. So how did it feel when Daddy made the decision? Well, when Daddy connected with you, when he apologized to your mom, like what was that like for you?
I looked at it like, it was big ups. I felt good. Like, I'm proud of him. It made me think of my life and I realized, like, I ain't there yet. But I'm glad that God working on him where he can say, I was wrong, even though if I wasn't wrong, I apologize for any way you might have took it. That's a different aspect that I have to look at and say, I commend him on that aspect. But other than that, I'm like, you apologize, I get it, but what people do with it now, that's on them. Now the whole thing was for him to get it off his conscience so he can
Yeah.
start fresh. So I got it. Now you got a clean slate. Now let me just ask you, did things change any? Dad?
No,
Okay, okay.
no,
So we're in the same boat. I
no,
get it. Okay.
no, no. You
But you
mean
feel different.
I feel different, yes. I feel like a burden has been lifted because I have allowed myself to pull me out of my mind so
Mm.
that reality could shine through, because I've been phony, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
had to play the parts and stuff like that. So my thing is like, um, I'm sorry for the lies I had to live, but I lived them.
Mm.
And my thing is, I just wanted everybody to know that I'm aware of them now, but at
Mm-hmm.
the time that they was existing, they appeared to be normal things taking place in somebody's life.
Right.
You know, I thought it was good that I could hang out with the guys and play big and money, a roll of money, and that's because I was working two jobs. They thought I was hustling. I wasn't hustling. I was trying to make some money out there. But anyway, the whole thing is playing these different parts and stuff like that. Uh, it kind of got me all twisted up. But I'm just glad to be back out here and have a little peace of mind right now.
Mm.
But
Wow.
yeah, I feel good and exuberated. I feel like I got a weight lifted off of me,
That's good. That's good.
you know.
Well, I
So
know I'm so proud of you. Like I'm proud of you for choosing to look at you, for choosing to um make the apologies, make amends. I know for me, it was big for me when you came to Kentucky to tell my mom thanks. Even though that was rocky too. Like that initial start was rocky, you know?
yeah,
And I'm gonna tell you something because I'm the type of person. Plus, I'm a prophet, right? I just stuff hit me. I'm like, that ain't true. I don't believe that. And I remember, when Mama said, "Well, he took something from me," and I didn't feel that. Like it didn't hit my spirit. It didn't hit my spirit. But that's my mom. I'm not gonna say you lying, okay? I'm just, I don't know about that. But when we had our first conversation, Daddy, you remember I asked you about that. That
yeah,
was one of the
yeah.
first things I did. I'm like, hey, listen, what's up with that? Because my mama said, and what did you say?
I said, baby, I never had to take anything in my life, and I would. That's not me. I can't take. I'll finesse you out of it. I'll talk you out of it. You gonna give it up, but it ain't gonna. It ain't gonna be like me forcefully. No, 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 no. Come to me, baby. That's the way
Mm-hmm,
it was.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Uh, I was out there. I was out
mm-hmm.
there, and I
Yeah.
played the part as a player. So you know, um, I'm not proud of none of this stuff.
Mm-hmm,
But the thing of it is, I see the wrong in everything that I've done now. But look
mm-hmm.
how long it took me and how much beating I had to take in order to be able to share exactly what makes me tick.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
You
So,
know,
Craig, I don't know about you, but I know for me, what Teddy said, like, that was me all day long. That was me all day long. Like, because and didn't understand that Wiggins charm. That's that Wiggins charm. Now, that Wiggins charm ain't no joke now. Listen, Vontae
Well,
said, talk that talk, sir. She said,
no,
awesome, congratulations.
thank
So,
you,
so
thank
Craig,
you.
now as his male child, because I know that I can operate kind of like that, but as his male child, did it make you make sense when you read the book?
I, like I said, it made sense, but I just felt as though the genes he passed on, and it's not just in the male kids, it's in the women kids. I had a talk with my sister, and she was telling me some things, and I was like, oh, you sound like me. And that's the youngest one, Alicia, and I said, I understand now. Do what you do. I get it. It's nobody, and it's just we all got it. Unfortunately, we got that gift, the gab, the talk, the talk. We got it. So I read his story and I seen a lot of my life in it trying not to be like that, ending up in the same situations. But I was fortunate where I was able to talk him out of it. I didn't, you know what I mean? I just put it on more pressure. If not, I have a whole village out here.
Li-
So I'm glad I
Listen.
was able to do those things.
Courtney said, no joke. I'm ready to tell my story. Come on, Courtney. Vontae said, y'all got that swag. I was thinking the same thing, baby. And that smile. It be the smile that be getting them. And them light brown eyes. Peachy
I don't
brown
know what
eyes.
I don't know. Can we change subjects? I really don't.
Listen. So Daddy, for you, as you started the journey, when you reading the book, because it's been a 2-year journey. Let me just say this. Let me say this. When we had our first conversation, I remember you saying you were working on a book. And I said, what? Like, what are the chances that I find my biological father and he's working on a book? And that's one of the things that I do. And immediately it just came out of my mouth. And this was the first time I ever called you daddy. I said, Daddy, can I help you with your book?
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to stop and I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is it okay if I call you daddy?
Mm-hmm.
And you said that infamous line that has absolutely changed my life.
That's your birthright. That's your birthright. You know, God gave it to you when you was born. You know, and that was just your birthright. You know, but I was so thankful that you wanted to call me dad. You know, I lived a life of, I don't know what you would call it. All I ever did was give, 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 give. And I thought that was a way to obtain love and affection. Um, and it brought a smile and it captivated a lot of attention, but it didn't bring me what I really needed, you know.
Mm,
And it was a temporary thing anyway. When the money run out, the love run out, you know.
mm,
So that's because I had the wrong perception of what I really wanted. I was looking for what I gave away as a child, you know.
mm,
When I told my mother, I said, you know, give to the rest of the kids, and I became a fiction of fatherhood and all that. I can get mine, but I wanted somebody to hug me too.
mm,
I wanted to be hugged and loved, but I didn't have to fulfill the role of trying to get out there and hustle so that I could get the kids. If styles came out or styles changed or anything like that, I could get them what they needed, you know. And that's the way, you know, it began for me.
mm.
So excuse me for rambling on.
No, you're good. You're good. So, I talked about that because we're full circle. What I thought was going to take me 60 days, and me and Craig had a whole bet. We had a whole bet on the 60 days. Like, normally I can just do it. I couldn't just do it. I couldn't. It has
Well,
literally taken all this time to put everything together. And because there was so many emotions attached to it. And
right,
and
right,
and and for me, making sure that as I'm writing your words, I'm also thinking about my siblings,
yeah,
thinking about their mothers, thinking about
right,
how this is
right,
going to
right,
affect everybody. Now,
right.
Craig is like, no, you just say that it. You just say it. Just write it down. What? You ain't got to do all that. But I really did because I understood. And I think because when I came in, I got you at a time where you were ready for something different. Like you had done what you'd done all this time, but you were ready for
I
something
had to have
different.
I had to have a change. I had to have a change. It was to the point where it was at an explosive state. And but you know, let me take you back a step or two. When I met you, I told you God kept you in the cocoon to the time that he was ready to bless me.
Mm,
And I was 75 years old when he allowed me to be blessed with someone to bring me out of those shadows that I was in, you know, uh, getting sick and tired of getting sick and tired and everything, you know. And I spent a life of giving, and I just felt like I was just tired of being beat up, you know. And everybody else get joy but me, you know. So, but this is why the book was written.
Daddy, like, back to the original question.
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, I want to pause and take a commercial break real quick. And I want to tell you, go get your copy of the book. It's on Amazon. Look up Oscar Wiggins. The link is in. It's actually running along the bottom of the screen. I'm actually going to put it in the comments. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it. Hold on. And I'm going to put it in the comments. And I want you to go get your copy. This is the ebook. Now, let me tell you why we did the ebook first, right? So we released the ebook first because our goal is to get Daddy to Amazon bestseller status. And the only way to do, the easiest way to do that is with the ebook. So I want you guys to get the ebook. You get immediate access. And then the physical book will be coming out this month. Okay, there it is. So go get a copy of the book. Go get a copy of the book. You're going to want to read this. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to do this interview was so that you could hear and get it from us. Because listen, this is not a game. This is real. This is just us coming together. Craig, thank you so much for getting on. And this was last minute. Like, it wasn't like Craig had a heads up. I said, hey, what you doing? I'm going to need you to hop on and watch this interview. He said, I need to be on there. I said, come on, change your shirt. Come on. So, Craig,
I did have a question.
Go ahead.
I did have a question. All right. How did you feel coming into the family, finding out this is your father? How did you feel? Because now you knew the dynamics, you heard the stories, you heard how he was, and you still came in. How did that make you feel now?
I just loved him. Like, I knew that he was human. I knew that, like all of us, he had made mistakes. When Daddy would tell me the stories, I'd be like, my daddy. That's my daddy. But I never internalized it to look at him negatively. I understood, because I've worked with a lot of vets, and I know the trauma that people in the military, whether it was Vietnam or not, but especially in Vietnam, went through. I just had a heart of compassion, and I just wanted my daddy. I didn't care that he was flawed. I didn't care where he had made mistakes. I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted my daddy because I finally saw me. I saw me. Like, I looked in his face and I saw me. That for me was a completion that I had been looking for. It's probably why I had been married 5 times. You know, like, I was looking for something in me that was missing, and I could not find it. Yeah. But when I met Daddy, I could marry for a different reason, because all of a sudden I was looking at my face and I'm trying to figure out, ain't nobody in my family on my mama's side or my daddy that raised me got these lips. Ain't nobody got these suku. I'm trying to figure out why I got these big behind lips. When I saw the family pictures, I thought, oh yeah, they're my people. I can tell by them lips, you know? So I was just excited. And I literally, Craig, I went back to being a little girl. I promise you, it was like I was about 5. I feel like the time that I've been with Daddy, I went from 5 to grown. Okay. Yeah. When I got to him, I was like a 5-year-old little girl. My daddy. I just wanted to be up under him. I want to lay up under him. Like, I just want to be up under my daddy. My daddy. The same way your girls are with you. Yeah. When you walk in the house, they're like, daddy, dad. Like, that's how I was. I had never had the opportunity to have that. I didn't have that. I couldn't do that. I never had a moment where I remember Mama Wanda took a picture and I was laying in their bed, and I'd fallen asleep, and Daddy had his hand on my face, and it was so tender. And every time I look at that picture, it touches me, because it was something that I never got from my daddy, who raised me, not because he didn't love me, but because he couldn't show. So check this out. the things that daddy said about him, okay, when you guys were growing up, was the daddy who raised me. That's how he was.
Mhm.
So as he got older, he began to change. So my sisters got a different him than I did. So
Yeah,
they talk about him cooking and playing hide and go seek.
right,
I said, who? Right?
right.
Which is
Yeah, I
why
understand.
I
Yeah,
could understand my sister. You know, I could understand my kid. I could understand her saying, well, that's not the daddy that I had. I understand that because I went through that, right? So,
yeah,
but I gave daddy an opportunity to just be who he was without feeling like he had to be perfect. I said, Daddy, I don't care what you did or what you do. I don't care what nobody got to say. I'm going to love you unconditionally, regardless. No matter what. There ain't
mhm.
nothing you can do that can stop me from loving you.
Understand.
Nothing.
Hmm.
So let
So,
me ask you a
go ahead.
question for you, Dad, because I know if my other siblings are watching. I know they said things.
Okay.
So how did you feel that your kids, your relationship with your kids? Did you feel like you had to give up and focus on other kids when you got with other people? Did you feel that way? Because that was the consensus for the rest of the kids. They felt
Right,
as though
right, right.
like they don't like me, so let me just pour my love into them to make
Not,
them.
not really. I carried the burden of every kid I had on me. So even though I might have got with other kids, my love for them never changed. I just had to split myself in different ways so that I could be enough for everybody.
Uh,
That's what I was trying to do. But I find out, like I said, in my search for love and marriage and all of this, I had the wrong plan. I
Mm-hmm.
had the wrong what do you say? I was looking at the wrong things for what I wanted out of life. You know, all the time I'm trying to get what I consider that love that I left that I never could get back again. It was like a high that you take and get that no matter how high you get, you ain't gonna get that one that you had before.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that being said, that's kind of like what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to alienate anybody. I just wanted to love everybody equally, but I had to make the move I made. And making the move I made was for me. And it was selfish. It was selfish. It was selfishly done. But at those times, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. I thought everybody was going to be okay.
uh-huh. I
So,
think
no, it wasn't intentionally done that way or navigated that way. It was what I felt like, how do you say? I'm searching for love and some kind of way. When one stopped loving me, somebody got to love me. I got to be loved.
uh-huh.
And it was all that was going on, you know. Uh man, I don't know. In my search for the mother's love, I ruined a lot of lives. But I didn't know what I was searching for either.
Mm-hmm.
I
You
think I
know?
think I think with the kids, um, me having a stepdaughter now, I spend more time with her than my kids outside of this house. It's just the
Mm-hmm.
facts. It's the same thing you
Okay.
did, but we
Right.
looked at it differently as kids. Like you doing
Yeah.
more for them, which is understandable because like I got my daughter here 100% of the time. I get my other daughter every 2 weeks, so
Right. Right.
I'm doing a way lot more with my stepdaughter. So my other daughter could feel some type of way, like, hey, why you doing all this? And it's like, she here 100% of the time. You know what I mean? So me being a parent now in a blended family, I
Yeah.
get it. But as a child, I did not get it. I was just
Right.
like,
Right.
oh, that ain't
Right.
cool. We got X, Y, and Z. You know
Well,
what I mean?
this was why the apologies took place in my life. At
Mm-hmm.
some point, after I learned that I was the culprit, I was the problem, that it wasn't my wives as much as it was me
Mm-hmm.
and my needs, um, I was selfish. I was thinking about myself because I wanted to make me happy. See, when you searching for something, you don't see all of the things
Yeah.
the, the casualties that are caused for you doing what you're doing. You know, you don't. All you want to do is make you happy. Somebody said that you were all that. Well, being all that is one thing in some people's eyesight, but it's not a place I chose to be.
Mm.
I'm searching for love. That's what it was.
Dad, you carried yourself that way, Dad. I'm gonna be honest with you. You carried yourself that way. You was the only father who had a jerry curl and a shirt buttoned down to their belly button. You would come to see me, you had your chest hairs out and 1, 2 chains on and your jerry curl. Like, you was playing the part. You was literally trying to look the look. So it was kind of, to say something, you was looking the look. You know, you was the last one with a curl. To be honest with you, you was the last one.
Okay, now that I see myself in you, I really feel delivered. Okay.
Listen. So Craig, let me ask you a question, right? So I remember when we had our early conversations, first of all, let me say thank you. I tell you this all the time, right? Because I really do appreciate how you embraced me, and how you welcomed me, into the family. You've been consistent. You've always been exactly the same. And I appreciate that. You gonna be Craig, okay? I'll be like, that Craig. But what was it like for you when you found out that you had another sister?
It was at a point where I was just like, huh? It was weird for me, but when I found out, I was like, okay. I felt as though it's not taking nothing away from me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If anything, you the one lost. You the one got to be found. So you coming into this circle. So I'm here, like, let's see who you are. And I was hesitant. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be
Hmm.
honest. I was hesitant. I didn't know. I was like, well, maybe she looked dad up, and maybe he got something I don't know. I don't know. I thought it like hell, but then I realized like he only got a tractor, he ain't got nothing. But it just made me realize like, hold on now, another sister, I get it, and let's see how this pan out. That's how I'm like, let's see how it pan out. I'm not expecting anything, so
Hmm.
therefore my expectations is not out the roof. Like, oh, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. I just looked at it like this is what he needed. He needed someone to come in unbiased, and then it come and look like, oh, you're a savior. How you can blend everybody together? I'm gonna be honest. You don't. You were like a savior because everybody came together because of you. Either they were talking about you or talking with you. Either way, you had us talking. So we commend that. It was there. So I heard all the voices and opinions, and I have to say, I'm happy to have another sister. Someone I can talk to, kick it with, and you know, I'm at a point where I'm not holding any grudges. So I don't have any ill feelings to my dad or anything, or I'm not going to say he did X, Y, and Z. I'm going to be honest, if I can, be very honest with
Yeah.
you. Your apology didn't mean anything to me, Dad. I wanted that bike in '82, that 10 speed I never got. That's what I wanted. I wanted to show up with that. That would change my life, I probably wouldn't have did half the things I did. But no, I mean, I felt like it's good. I'm happy that he's happy now. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
happy that he's at a point where I just want him to be at a point where you at an age where you could curse, say F it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
didn't walk on eggshells your whole life. Give it up. Like stop it. It's time to break some eggs. You know what I mean? That's how
yeah,
I feel. Like you deserve
yeah,
that right. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
tiptoed around everybody's feelings and emotions, and you neglected your own emotions. It's time for
Hmm.
you to be selfish. It's time for you to
Oh,
embrace yourself, and that's all I'm cheering
you
for.
know, I really looked in the mirror the other day, and I was like, I'm 77 years old, and I haven't lived. I said, I haven't lived. So all of my life, I was searching for something that I never did really find. but at least I found out what I was searching for, you know. And that gave me a little bit of peace. But all in all, I haven't had a lot of pleasure or anything like that. I said, okay, I'm 77. In 3 years, I'll be 80. I can't let nobody beat me up no more.
That's
So
true.
now I come out of the ring, don't even get in the ring. I'm coming out swinging because ain't nobody gonna take my joy that God gave me and
Mm-hmm.
the relief that He's given me. You know, I seen some things, and I'm
Mm,
thankful that I got the production that God allowed me and blessed me with.
mm,
You know, He blessed me with a saving force, a young kid. Lisa, 3 years old, saved my
mm-hmm.
life. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to die. I just lost my son and my brother. So I took all these pills when a little kid walked in the room and put my head in the hands and said, Daddy, it's going to be all right.
Mm,
That's what happened when I was committing suicide. And at this point, when my daughter told me I was useless and that I wasn't there for them and I had sacrificed my whole life for them, and that just took me down to where when I got that phone call, it's like God said, I got a ram in the bush.
mm,
So that's when the oldest daughter comes in and saved me again because I was on a downward spiral. Getting ready to I don't know if it was going to be alcohol or what it was going to be, but everything was falling apart for me. It
wow.
hurt me. It hurt me worse than anything. And I'm like, I'm trying to save generations, and yet I'm being beaten down even now. And God knew what He was doing because when she came in just said wanted to be my daughter, wanted to be a little girl, wanted to be her, and I did all those things with her because um, if I could have done them with everybody, I would have done it. But I wasn't able to do it. And here God kept this child 55 years to save my life at 75. That's what the thing was. I had given up, tired of fighting. You know, I mean, I asked my daughter, I said, how old are you? She said 50. I was like, I've been fighting all this adversity all your life, just trying to be what everybody needed.
Mm,
It's all I've been trying to be. But I don't fault nobody for being who they are
right.
because I had a contribution to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why the book was written.
Mm.
You
Back to
know,
your original question. Back to the original question.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I know for me, it's been interesting because even though I came in to just love everybody, like literally, because that really is who I am. Um, I also discovered some things about myself. I discovered some things about myself. Um, Marquita said, I didn't say you were useless. Please put words in my mouth. I would greatly appreciate it.
Oh Lord, she's herself. She's herself. I love you, but you are yourself. Um, when people say things, they might say, um, "You weren't there for me. You were never there for me." And I don't say, didn't say it like that, but because that was the way it was said. But the fact that it affected me to the point to where if I've never done anything for you all your life, And here you feel like I'm going to damage my grandkids. This is what I wrote the book for. They have to know who I am, that I'm not what nobody say I am. I'm a man that takes accountability for everything he's ever done in his life.
Now
But
you
God
did take
said one
accountability.
thing.
You
God
took
said one
accountability.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all these things, love is the most important thing. You know, I loved all of them with all my, how do you say, imperfectness
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. But I was who I was. I had to get through the war of the jungle and the war of the world. You
Yeah.
know, then I had to come back and find me. Before finding me, I had families.
Mm-hmm.
I never got a chance to find me. But when I went back for me, I didn't know who me was.
Mm, that's real. That's real. Um, so what you felt and what you heard was that you were useless. But what she said was you, well, let me put her
I
words up
weren't
here.
there. I
Now you're
weren't
taking
there for them.
accountability, but what I said was you always disappointed. But
Well,
that felt like you,
if you know, you can change words and make words sound differently or look different or whatever. But when it means the same thing, it's just a different terminology. Okay? It's the same thing. I don't care about you. That means you don't care about me. I don't care how many languages you put it in or how many phrases you said come in. You meant what you said. And that's all. But you know, everybody got a side and everybody got a story. And
right,
everybody can feel a certain way.
right,
You know,
right. I
I'm
think
not
the thing
trying
from, go ahead,
I'm,
Daddy.
I'm not trying to exonerate myself.
Right,
I'm putting it out there that I was who I was. And
right.
in all of it, I really just wanted to say I'm better now.
Mm,
God has seen fit to give me these last few years of my life to where I can look to whom my you know where my stuff come from. Period. You know,
hmm.
I'm kind of jumbled up right now.
I know.
Um, I'm just trying to live a good life as best I can after my irresponsible acts.
Hmm. Yeah. So one of the things that stood out to me because I understood why people felt the way they felt. Like let's just be real. That you had multiple families, right? It was multiple families. You said that. You had multiple families. You had different lives. Like literally different like you had this life over here with your wife, this life over here with your girlfriend, this life over here with your other wife, this life over here. Like you had different lives. Like they were different lives. And for you, they didn't come together. But
Let me,
what that meant was the kids, right?
yeah,
The
suffered,
kids are
suffered.
then, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
suffered.
yeah,
It suffered.
yeah,
You know, the thing of I've never been proud of the fact that my action caused so much hurt and pain. I was
right.
never proud of it. I just wasn't aware that it was causing the pain it was because I was in a zone that let me know everything around me was mine.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I'm not hurting nobody. I'm just doing this thing. See,
Mm-hmm.
when you drugging and stuff like that to hide pain and to put you on a level to where you can deal with yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, when you don't like you,
Huh. Come on.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's a hard thing for you to accept the fact that you don't like you.
Right. Yeah. That's
But
real.
but see, all those things came about later in my life. I done made all the
Mm-hmm.
mistakes then.
Right. Right.
But then I had to go back and make an atonement for them simply by saying, I'm sorry.
Right. Right.
And the book was written as a form of apology for any wrongness that I might have done, any hurt that I might have caused, and that I was fighting to survive.
Yeah. Now,
I'm
Craig
here.
said, and you are. Craig said something, and this hit me because I didn't even think about this when thinking about the story, when thinking about your life. I didn't even think about this. Craig introduced the impact of Agent Orange on veterans, on people. Craig, talk about that for a second.
Oh, you about to get me canceled. No, they was experimenting on how to make these super soldiers that don't have emotions or feelings. So that's where Agent Orange came into play. And they was spraying the troops and putting it in the food. And next thing you know, they can't cry, they can't show emotion. So in the book I was reading it like, this is what it was. It wasn't just Vietnam. It was the stuff they was doing to you to make you a soldier, you know?
But see, I didn't know what was causing the pain,
Yeah.
but I knew the pain was being caused.
Right.
And the medication that we took for the pain in the jungle was get high. Get
Right.
high, you don't feel nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was the part that was played, you know.
Yeah.
See, that's why vets don't talk to nobody but vets.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out in writing this book that it's very important as a veteran that you allow your family into your nightmares because that's the only way they know you're having them.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, you know, my thing is, hey, y'all, I'm running off at the mouth. Go ahead, somebody.
No, you're good. Well, listen, the man himself has joined us, none other than J. Rick Rollins.
My
Hey,
son,
brother.
my son.
Hello, my brothers, and my brother, my daddy, and my sister. How you? I apologize. I've been on a 2-hour since I talked to you. One of my college roommates from Morehouse called me and needed, so
Yeah.
I had to
You're
Well,
listen.
I
always there,
appreciate you
baby.
joining us.
I was like, I got. I'm gonna be back, but I got to go right this minute. So
Well, I
anyway.
wanted you to come on because I know that you read the book, and when you finished reading the book, you immediately called me. You immediately called me, right? And Craig has kind of talked about, reading the book and what it was like for him. Now, you weren't in it, right? You know, what was reading that book like for you? What did it do? What did it say to you? What was your takeaway?
Well, I finally understood what the title meant.
Mm,
Because there is something, especially as Black men, we end up crying silently all too often. Because what are we told, Greg, all the time? Don't you cry. Don't you cry. And it's a sign of weakness when in all actuality, it's a sign of freedom and liberation because what does that old song say? What shall wipe away all my tears? Nothing but the
Blood of
blood
Jesus.
of Jesus.
and so there's a freedom that comes because now I can say to the Father, this is me.
Mm-hmm.
I said to Daddy the other night, Craig, that when the Bible says, and ye shall know your truth, I just finished talking to my college roommate, and he says, what I loved about you at 17 is that you walked in your truth when nobody wanted you to walk in your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
you live that. And I've walked with that freedom and autonomy because I refuse to let anybody put me in a box, in a closet, on a
Right.
shelf. And
Right.
everybody's not gonna like that, and everybody's gonna be comfortable with that. But when the Bible tells us that the truth is what sets us free, it doesn't say this, and I think it's a disservice to us sometimes. It doesn't say that they're gonna like our truth, nor are they gonna like our liberation, because
Yeah.
there were slaves who enslaved slaves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know where you're coming from.
So therefore, some folks would rather you keep it to yourself and never say a word than walk in that freedom. And hopefully you'll join me on this journey. And that was my whole thing. This is the opportunity. And Craig, I say this all the time. I tell young people, you better love them while they're here, because when they're gone, You
They're
can't get
gone.
that. I go
Yeah.
sit at that grave some days and I'm like, why am I here? It's the only place, it's the last place I left them.
Yeah.
So whoever got an issue with it, one of the things that I say this evening is this: let him have his truth. Now you have a choice. Deal with it or not. And you say, well, that's easy because no, look, Craig, as an adopted child, you know how many different stories I've been told about my parents. And so I have to decide. There are people who argue that I'm not a twin. I know I was a twin. You can't take that from me, but it makes you uncomfortable because they wonder, what did she do with the other one? He died. We don't know where he is. There's nothing. Now my one friend has William V. His speculation is that she gave him away just like she gave me away, because they didn't even know I had been given away until I had been fully adopted. And the reason I'm sharing this is because my sister and I talk all the time. And she says, my only real. I said, no, I got a lot of sisters. Don't get mad. But she says the sad part is people are more comfortable with us living their lie than us living our truth.
Right.
And it's like, because think about what stuff you read in the book and how and that's anybody that's reading the book. Put yourself in the place, both as the child and the parent, the stuff you were told and the stuff that you know to be true. But it's just like when you found out that it was your daddy. It's not fair to put anybody in this place where they can't walk in their truth. We've done what the white man has done to us as slaves.
Yeah.
They introduced us to their God because they didn't like the God that we serve, because our God was much more powerful, because our God kept a great majority of us to get here.
Right.
What would be waiting even after King and Queendom. The bottom line is, in this season, as you adjust to the truth, anybody that's going through this, what was the thing today? I'll be the bad. Nobody asking you to be the bad guy. You want to take on that role and have at it. But the bottom line is, in this process, Craig, don't you let anybody turn you around. Craig, you're a light when you walk in the room. You your daddy's child. Y'all walk in the room and the room change. That's definitely your sister. You walk in the room and if the trajectory changes. Folk who don't want to walk in that. Oh well. You can't let them steal your. They can't make you feel that's your daddy. That's your sister. What happened happened. Look, when Dolores gave me up for adoption, I walked around with this thing on my shoulder for years. How could she do that? And you know what, Craig? I was standing in the pulpit one Friday night at Chad's church, and they given two of us the same scripture in the 7 last words. And they took it. I done researched and got ready to deliver my message. And they said, well, he can't preach like you, so we're going to just give you this. And it was talking, Father, why hast thou forsaken me? At that moment, I said, can I tell y'all I have abandonment issues? I said, I know what Jesus feels like, and then the Lord said, but she abandoned you into a place of destiny. Had she not been Jesse and Allie Craig, I'd probably been some little beat up dead sister. I'm just because I was this curious kid because of all the things that happened to me. Don't tell me I can't. I'm gonna go look and because I was so smart, I said stuff that children didn't say. So I'm grateful that she gave me the people who nurtured me. And in that moment, God said, but look at the blessing.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to understand sometimes, is that I don't care how it happened.
Right.
You got here. I said this the other day, and I'll stand by this. If it wasn't for that man right there, none of y'all would be here. Give him that. I don't know Ricardo. All I got was his name. I don't think I got his good looks. Jesus, I wish I did, because he was one of them Negroes. You know, women just threw panties at him when he walked by on the street. maybe, maybe I'm glad they didn't, because I mean,
Oh man.
no. But the thing was, I never had the pleasure of knowing him, but I had the blessing of knowing Jesse.
Mm.
Amen.
I had the blessing of having Allie as my mama, because Dolores Dolores didn't know what to do with me.
That's right.
Dolores had she had 3 that lived and 8 that died. Of course, she died at the age of 21.
Wow.
Okay, I would have been lost in the sauce.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, folk may not like the truth, but the truth is just the truth. I don't know all my truth. At least I wish Ricardo would hand me a book and say, "Now let me tell you, nigga, well, this really went how it went down."
Right.
I don't have that. And so sometimes I feel like I'm living half truths, because all I got is the life that I lived, and the one that I have to. I forgave Dolores years ago and thanked her. We finally found her grave. So the first chance I get, I'm going to put flowers on her grave, because I've never had the opportunity to do that.
Wow.
I just want to say thank you, because if
Wow.
it hadn't been for her and the sperm donor, I wouldn't be here. Oscar is not a sperm donor. That's your daddy. Like I said, anybody that they don't get it, they don't like it. Just like he had to come. This is the thing, and I think if the family will do this, and any reader that this brings up feelings, because this book is going to bring up this is going to set some people free.
Yeah.
Okay, especially when you get on Tamron Hall and you sitting there, because I see this. I see you on camera. And I want you to know that you've been given a charge to free some people, especially veterans.
Yeah.
Because y'all came back. How many people on here? Because you know I want to cuss. Y'all came back screwed up because of what you saw and what you went through.
Yeah.
Not fair. America owes you not only a debt, they owe you a check, a real check. But the bottom line is, there will be people who you will set free. There will always be, and I don't like the term, but it is. There will be collateral damage often when the truth is told. Because everybody's not going to like it. Everybody's not going to want to hear it, because they would rather live in their fantasy world. I think that everything, my ex-roommate, and I just talked, well, my roommate from Morehouse, we just talked about that. When he started walking his truth, he said he lost all these friends.
Yeah.
And he said, how can you be mad at me for living my truth? You should be happy for me. They were happy when they did, because now that they know the truth, they have to deal with how it affects them.
Right.
That's what they're worried about, is what they're gonna tell about, what he gonna tell them about. He said, I ain't got time to I'm too busy making sure I keep my stuff straight.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
again, I think the book is a blessing. I think it's necessary, because they don't see enough brown and black men walking in the honesty of the fact that, yeah, I may have screwed up, but I'm not a screw up.
Right.
I straighten.
Yeah.
And granted, like Greg, you might be like, well, Nick, that's easy for you. You on the outside. Y'all are family. And so for me, because did you tell Craig what I said when I said, hell, is there a gay version of him too? But my thing is, as a family, y'all change lives, because this book is going to do that. Like I said, when V said, I finished, the first thing God said, his truth has set him free.
Yeah.
Craig, there are things when sometimes, you know how women ask us, do you like this? Because I get this from all my friends, because I guess they think because I'm gay, all I want to do is play in fabric. And well, I do play in fabric all day long, but they'll ask me, does this look good on me? Do they really want the truth? or do they want me to tell them what they want to hear?
Mm.
Yeah.
The truth is not always going to be what we want to hear, but it's what needs to be heard.
Amen.
Thank
Amen.
you. Thank you. Thank you for that. And the thing about it is this man owned a publishing company. Owns a publishing company,
Yeah,
like a publishing
don't put those
house,
past.
author,
I
extraordinaire.
appreciate you,
So
son.
No problem.
when he called me, he was like, V.
Mhm.
I'm like, what, brother? What? He said, Daddy's book. That book is everything.
It is.
And for me, and this is what I'd like the listeners to walk away with. See, my prayer is that we will read the book and identify ourselves in the book, or identify what we need to take from the book. I know for me, I saw so much of me in his journey and understood that desire for your children to be able, one, to forgive you, and two, to recognize your journey, like what you had to go through. Because even in my move to North Carolina, my kids didn't necessarily understand that. They felt like it was selfish, but I had to be selfish because I had to go collect a piece of me. So, Daddy, in the book, when you talk about trying to find you and not even knowing who you were, because you had been so many different people and lived so many different lives, I could relate to that. And so my prayer is that it will allow us as your children, one, to forgive you and release you, and two, to look at ourselves, because we always, everything that happens in our lives, we always have to look at ourselves. I just want to say this, Daddy. I'm super proud of you. I'm super proud of you for sharing your truth, for allowing yourself to release these feelings and to experience a cry. When you have been sprayed with Agent Orange, which prevents you from being able to cry, when you can't cry for your son who died, when you can't cry for your brother who died, and their funerals are on the same day. Like, I don't know, I could not, when I read the book, my heart was broken for you. My heart was broken that I wasn't in the picture. My heart was broken that I couldn't be there. Craig will tell you this. When I was in Philly and we were at Mama Vivian's house, I call her Mama Vivian. That's my mama too. I told Greg, that's my mama too. But when we were at her house, I had, looked at the pictures of
Your relatives.
I had looked at the pictures of Craig and Eric, and she was talking about when Eric was murdered. And I was sitting there and I was trying to keep myself together. Like, I was trying to keep myself together, but because I was not there, because I didn't get the opportunity to process that, it was as though it had just happened. And I'm hearing everything that happened. And Craig was like, Mom, we don't have to talk about all that. We don't have to, because I'm over here about to just break down crying in this woman's house, right? Trying to find, where's the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? Because now I got to go cry, right? This journey and this process has been one that gives us lots of opportunities. And I'm grateful for every opportunity that it gives. The opportunity to get to know Daddy, the father, the husband, the man, and the little boy. Because that's the other thing. That's the other big thing about this book. This started for him at 8 years old.
Yep.
Now, none of us can say we were dropped off at 8 years old, right? And had no parent. Well, Craig said, I was dropped off at the military school. I didn't have no family. Me and Eric, ride or die. But to be able to, and even with that, Craig, I'm sure that when you read the book, you could relate to some of Daddy's feelings as a child because of that experience.
Yes, definitely.
But even that experience, David thought that that was a good thing, right? So we can look at other people's situations and we can think it's better than it really is. And that's a part of our journey. And being able to get the opportunity to have our dad and be able to have these conversations and hear this side. I wish I had that story from Norman. I wish I
Oh,
could hear like what happened. I wish I could hear the story of my conception. I wish I could hear, because I still think there's some more stuff to all that that I don't know. And I may never know. Um, but I believe there's more to it. I
right,
believe that. My
right.
prophetical says that there's more to it, right? But
Well,
sometimes the more to it is too painful
It's too
for
pain. There
people
you
to
go.
say.
There you go. That's exactly what it is. And
right,
the problem is, until we process the pain, we
Yeah.
can't proceed beyond the pain.
right,
Yeah.
And
right.
so what happens in the process is that we get stuck and we get bogged down. And in order for us to live, we'd
Hmm.
rather live the lie
Not than the truth.
than the truth, because the
Which,
truth hurts too much. Because freedom, to him much is given, much is required. And when you have
right.
the freedom of your truth, you ain't
Well,
got no
see,
excuses.
this is something that God did for me. He allowed me to have a testimony. Don't nobody have to speak for me. I've spoken for myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
The life I've lived shall speak for me. But the
Mhm.
part that means more to me than anything else is the fact that I was able to be apologized, to be sorry, to be forgiven, to be
Yeah.
accepted, that no longer I feel bonded
Mhm.
because of something I did, I've apologized. I made my statements,
Get him on the apology tour. Let him off.
but
Yeah.
but but I'm so thankful that God gave me this opportunity. And I tell Veronica that it's so crazy because out of all I've gone through in life, at this time, at 75 years old, he decided to do a blessing with a child. But he knew at that time is when I was going to need a
Mm.
savior, somebody to take me from where I was,
Mm.
you know? So I'm extremely thankful that God gave me that opportunity. If nothing else, I'm free, you know.
Mm.
But that is more than a testimony. It's a legacy.
Well,
It's a legacy because now, Craig, you ain't got to walk around hearing voices.
Mhm.
Mm.
You know the truth from the person that you need to hear it from. That's
Yeah.
the big thing. And that's what folks get mad about, because you now have the option to do and be.
Mm.
They don't like
Well, I'm gonna say this because I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I'm grateful. I'm honored, Daddy, first of all, that you gave me the privilege of helping you get the book done. You know, um, listen, Eric said 75, granddad. Boy, you fooled me. I'm going to look great at 75. Boy, he's 77. So 75 was when I came in the picture, E.
Yeah,
Listen.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you got good genes, baby. Your genes is good now. Your genes is good. Now we age
Carolina legend.
well now. We don't look like how old we really are. But yeah, I'm honored that I got the opportunity to do that, to help you see it come to fruition. And at this point, to all of those who are watching, those who are listening, whether you're listening live or you're watching the replay, this is your opportunity to seed into this legacy, to seed into this vision by ordering your copy of the book. Listen, you can go to Amazon. The link is spinning below. It's also in the chat. Let me put it up there so it's visible. And you can go to that link, or you can type in Oscar Wiggins Silent Cry, or just Oscar Wiggins. It'll take you to the ebook. Now, right now, what we've got is the ebook. The paperback book is going to be coming out. Those that you pre-ordered, your books will be coming. And if you ordered one, guess what? We're going to bless you with 2 for your patience, okay? So you go ahead and get a copy of the ebook. You can read the book right now. And then once you read it, give it a rating and give it a review. Talk about how it impacted you, because those things matter. But listen, I want to get Daddy's book to an Amazon #1 bestseller. And it's too many of you that follow me, that follow him, that are our friends, right? That follow Craig, that's his friends, for you not to support $2.99, right? It's not going to break the bank, but it will break some shackles off your brain, off your mind, and off your emotions. I promise you, if you read this book with an open mind, there will be healing in families. If you are wounded and you have father wounds, read this book and you'll get a brand new understanding of maybe there's a story to your father that you don't know. Maybe there's a story to your mother that you don't know, that you've not taken the time to find out. And I'm going to say this about mamas. I'm just going to tell y'all like I'm going to tell y'all. I'm going to say this about mamas. Mamas lie. Okay, I said it. There it is, right there. Mamas lie. No mama wants their children to know the stuff they did in their youth. They just don't. So they're going to put themselves in the best light possible at all times. And that means that the blame goes to the men. Consistently, I've watched that happen in the lives of men. Consistently. So we've got to understand that our mothers were young too. I know my mama was 16. She didn't listen. But the truth is the truth, and we need truth. Cat Williams said this, and I've been telling y'all this, that 2024 is the year of exposure. Like, if you don't want it told, you need to get it together. It's the year of exposure. Cat Williams said, 2024, the truth is going to be the truth, and let every lie be a lie. Now, Cat said that, and that's absolutely correct. And so I'm proud of you, Daddy, for telling your truth. And anybody else, you tell your truth. Everybody got a truth, tell it. But don't take away from somebody else's.
Veronica Johnson will write your truth for you.
Listen, but I'm excited. I'm excited. Daddy, go ahead. What were you saying?
No. You know, I've pretty much said the things that moved me, but the book was out there, like I said, to take that. What do they call it? They call it closet. Things are in the closet or whatever. But the book is out there to expose me and allow me to forgive myself and others to forgive others as well.
Yes.
Know?
What do we?
What's that?
I mean, it's a lot. Like I just, you know, I like the fact that you're being open and honest, Dad. But is there like any type of statue, like R. Kelly? Your mom was 16. Like, are we? No, is I just brushing past that? Like, hold on now. Let's go back.
Well, how old was Daddy?
Daddy he was 18.
Okay, so but here's where did y'all live?
We were in
Kentucky. Oh, yeah, Kentucky. I guess it don't matter. Kentucky.
Shut up, Craig.
I think that here's the thing. If you look at what the laws say, in a lot of instances, 16 was a legal age. It was the age.
Thank you, Vantalay.
Let's see. I'm gonna look this up while y'all.
Don't be looking. Listen, Daddy, I'm glad you dropped your seed off in Kentucky. Well, actually, I was conceived in Tennessee, but that's a whole nother conversation.
But you traveled to Kentucky. It's just one of those things.
and Daddy, thank you too for going to tell my mama.
Before I go, I'd like to say that this is for the guys that I lost and they had no voice to
Mm.
say what I just said or to do what I've just done. My comrades, I'll never, one of them, I never forget that we smoked all night and I ran out of rock. I went home and he went to get some more. He didn't come back. He died. But we did the same thing. So God have circled me to let me see what would happen or what could happen and allowed me to live through it.
Yes.
But they had a story because they were all hurting.
Yeah.
They were hurting and nobody knew they was hurting because they had to protect an image.
Yeah.
I'm daddy, I'm the man, but I can't go to work. Don't nobody know why. So these are stories that it's inspired me because they came along and it hurt me. I couldn't cry for nobody.
Mm.
And I felt like that those guys, they took the way they took, or God had their plan. But I felt like if they could have eased the pain, maybe they would have stayed around longer.
Mm.
Wow. Well, as we prepare to close out, thank you, Daddy, for taking time to do this. Craig, thank you, brother, for hopping on. Do you
Thank you,
have any
son.
parting
Thank
words?
both of y'all.
Okay. Now, it's really been a pleasure. I'm just looking forward to the next journey that you're on right now. And my book is coming next, you know.
My
Thank you,
brother said,
son.
hey, sis, I need my book now. I need my book.
Only a phone call away.
Pastor Rick, anything you want to say in closing?
Okay, wait a minute. I'm trying to find this answer.
Oh, wait, can I put my Cash App up?
Listen to you.
We're taking donations, you
Listen,
know.
Vontalay said, Daddy Vontalay said, get Craig that bike. What did it say?
16. Okay, but yeah, Daddy, get Craig that bike because he's good about that doggone bike. But
You
Craig,
know what? He's
but
going to
Craig,
get the shock of his life because I'm going to deliver it to him.
okay, but at least you're not Craig. Let me tell you like this. My friend who was a politician tells a story in his book, and he talks about being given a bike at the age of 10 and being snatched off that bike by the police because his daddy stole it and gave it to him for Christmas.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
so you ain't get
But
it
I
yet.
ain't going to steal it, Craig. I ain't going to steal it. It ain't going to be hot.
We ain't stealing it. We ain't stealing it. Vontalay said, come on, Craig, with the book. Look, Eric said, me too. The beginning coming to, Granddad. Daddy, you inspiring people to write books. Look at you at 77, first time author.
Well, I thank God for this opportunity.
The
And I
title,
thank you guys for allowing me a moment to shine.
Daddy, you shine no matter you shine when you don't want to shine. You shine in darkness, okay? You are the light in dark. But Craig, I have the perfect title for your book.
What's
I
that?
want my bike.
There you go.
Listen, I just want to say thank you to those of you who have joined us. Please go get your copy of The Silent Cry by Oscar Wiggins Jr. Make sure you purchase your ebook. It's only $2.99. Go get it tonight. Let's run him up to the top of the charts. Let's get him to that Amazon #1 bestseller. He deserves it, you all. All that he's gone through and the way that he bared his soul in that book, the way that he's taken accountability. He's on his grown man-ish, for real, for real. And he challenges us to be on our grown man or grown woman-ish and deal with us. Listen, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in for this first inaugural episode of Dr. V's Place, back in the building with my family, my daddy and my brothers. one biological and one we just lived together, so that made us married. And you all, we pray that you have an amazing night. Go get your copy of the book. Go follow my dad. Make sure you do that. Stay in touch, stay in tune, because the best is yet to come. We love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.